me, the last 6 years of my life, man, have been fucking incredible. Like I've been able to be a dad.
Yeah.
Right? Like I can take my kids to school every day. I can pick them up from school every day.
Yeah.
Right. Like we've lived together since 2012. We got married in 2021. We got divorced in 2023, and we're still here today.
He was like, now you're gonna be miserable like Diego, and I'm just like, I'm not miserable. Like I'm happy. What you talking about? Like I enjoy being married, and we were arguing about whether you should marry or not.
You know where you grew up at, and the places, the stores that you constantly go to spend your money and stuff like that. You want all those people to recognize you right there. Yeah, it's cool to go into a show and they recognize you because you do cool haircuts or you do cool videos, but it hits you different when you walk into somewhere that is in your community and they're like, oh, you're that one that was in that video in that podcast, huh? And I didn't know what that feeling was until I started actually doing community work. Today's episode is actually sponsored by Carne Seca Department. It's one of the hottest beef jerky right now that's gonna go live on TikTok soon.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to our channel. This is Barbertainment, episode 3. Today we got a special guest, but we're gonna let our co-host introduce him.
What's up, Barbertainment family? We're here at the headquarters right now. We got a great special guest today. He is the host of the JOECEE Podcast on the mic, shop owner and gentleman Republican ambassador. We got JOECEE in the house.
Let's go.
How you doing, JOECEE?
What up, what up, what up?
Hey, thank you for being here, JOECEE.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. I mean, I've been looking forward to being... Actually, this is the first podcast I've ever been on.
No way, JOECEE, for us?
Like as a guest, right?
Feel
Like as a
honored.
guest.
Yeah, we feel honored.
Yeah.
We feel honored.
Yeah, like as a guest, this is the first one, man. So I'm fucking super pumped up to be here with you guys.
You're not stressed. You're just chilling. You're just ready.
I mean, so look, one thing, I've always created myself to be like an extrovert, but I always tell people, like, if I do speaking, if I do education, if I do anything like this, I'm always a little nervous.
Yeah.
Like, there's always like that, like, fuck, like I'm not fully like, let's fuck, like super, like there's definitely always like that little bit nerve at the beginning, but then once it flows, it flows.
No, I could kind of see it in you that you're very relaxed. I see that you are a gentleman Republic ambassador. So I'm guessing you're used to talking in front of people or teaching a class maybe or going in a sort of crowd in front of a crowd to speak.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
You know, being in front of the camera is probably nothing different than that. And kind of knowing that probably there's somebody live watching, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, JOECEE. We brought you on here because I think you're a person that could provide a lot of value, especially to our listeners, whether it be in the barber industry, whether it be in personal development, communication. I feel like you're a great person for that task. So today, we want you to share your story, your success story. We want you to share a little bit about your background and a little bit of your successes as well. Maybe some of your failures in life. Whatever you want to share. But let's start with that, JOECEE. How will you describe the current version of JOECEE to the future self?
Man, so the 38-year-old version of JOECEE. Honestly, the first thing that comes to my mind as like how I describe myself is definitely like a father and a husband. Right? Like I can't say I've been obsessed with, right? But fortunately, I had enough of a passion for sales and business that once I got into barbering, it was never a question on if I was ever going to open a shop. It was always a matter of like when, right? Like the moment I decided to sign up for barber school was I simultaneously decided in that moment that I was also going to open up a barbershop, right? And so fortunately, I've been super blessed that I've had a barbershop for 10 years now, right? The first 4 years of owning the barbershop was a grind, like a super grind, right? But I've been blessed to, in those 4 years, I was able to create something that was sustainable enough that where even though I don't make a ton of money, the last 6 years of my life, man, have been fucking incredible. Like I've been able to be a dad.
Yeah.
Right? Like I can take my kids to school every day. I can pick them up from school every day, right? Now my wife and I, we have this thing where we switch responsibilities every other week. So every other week, she picks them up, she takes them to school and she picks them up. And then every other week, I take them to school and I pick them up.
Does
Right.
her job allow her to do that? Like,
So,
does she do hair too?
My wife is actually the owner of the San Dimas location.
Oh man.
Yeah.
that's
She's a
dope.
barber too.
Yeah, so she's a barber too.
Oh, okay.
Wait, when you met her, was she a barber? or you turned her into a barber?
Yeah, I turned her into a barber. I
That's
turned her into a barber.
dope,
Now
that's
she's an animal,
dope.
bro.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, she's
Damn.
she's had full ownership of the San Dimas location since the beginning of 2023. Right? Since the
Okay.
beginning of 2023, she's had full ownership, management, like anything that's happened from 2023 to now with the San Dimas location is all Jasmine.
Mm.
Like that's all her, right?
Yeah.
And so fortunately, dude, watching her grow in the past 2 years and like kind of turn the shop into what it is now, one has been incredible. And two has also given her now that freedom that, like I said, for the last 6 years, I've really been able to enjoy. Right. And so why I say I would describe myself first as a father and a husband is because having what we've created so far does give me that ability to be with my kids, do all of like the take them to school, pick them up, be at any baseball game, any soccer game, any choir performance, any band performance. Like we can be there for all of it.
Yeah,
Right?
and
And
that's
we are.
that's like genuine wealth, right? Like having ultimate freedom,
Yeah.
you know, and the flexibility.
That to me, that's something that money can't buy. You know, like I feel like that's when you actually see a picture of somebody with, or a video of somebody like kind of throwing money, and then you see that same person just having fun with their family, and a lot of people were like, "Man, I want that life better than all this money like that."
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
a lot of barbers don't understand that having that extra time to be able to do that. Some of them, because they're just younger, they're not parents yet, you know. But as you get older and you do become a parent, I feel like your values shift a little bit,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
to
yeah,
what
yeah.
you actually want to dedicate your time to.
I wanted to
Absolutely.
ask you: are you a father first, then a husband, or are you a husband first and then a father?
I say I'm a husband first, and then a father, right? And I know that's a super controversial topic,
yeah,
right?
because I just saw a post today in the morning. It said, "My husband comes before my kids and my family,"
Yeah.
and everybody was like bashing her.
I mean, and again,
I feel like half of the people were bashing them, and then you
Yeah.
got the other half that are like, I feel you, like I'm with that.
Yeah.
and I believe both sides have evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like I believe if we were in a court, right, both sides can prove a very fucking good case, right? So for me, and just my perspective, one of the main considerations why I put husband first is because I was 15, I was 16, I was 20, I was 25, I was 30 in my life already. And I know what we go through as human beings. My kids will leave.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
My
yeah,
kids
yeah,
will
yeah, they're
my
gonna leave.
kids will come to a point where they will choose friends. My kids will have a point where they will choose their partner. My
Yeah.
kids will have a point where they choose their kids,
Yeah.
right? And mom and dad,
You guys
end up
stay
we end up
together.
coming second, right? And
Damn.
that's not going to be the case with my wife. My wife, as long as we're together, she's going to fucking be there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anything could happen, and I know she's gonna be there. I know she's gonna have my back. So
Okay.
for me, that's the main consideration I have, which has me say I'm a husband first, right? Because that's the one that's the one that's been there. That's the one that is there now, and that's the one that will be there later, right?
Until,
And so-
until death does us apart, huh?
yeah, and so I mean, tell me who else? Which other human being, right? You could say parents, you could say kids, you could say whatever, but really, if you think about it, which other human being in your entire life will be that close to you for that long?
Or know you like for that long. Like they're gonna know everything about you.
And I love that you even said know you, right? Because who do you ever really know, right? This is the one person that no matter who you turn into, right? Because who you are now may
Yeah.
not be who you are 5 years from now.
Yeah.
And that person will adapt.
Yeah, and she
and
will see everything.
still be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I think they will be there until like shit really does hit the fan, and
Of
if
course.
it doesn't work out,
Right.
you know,
And
then,
yeah,
obviously,
then at that point,
they're
you know,
there till
because
they're not.
I mean, everybody wants to live that fairy tale life. You know?
Hey, but
But
not
if they were to adapt, then that's how you know how
They're
they
real.
separate themselves from the whole bunch.
I think when
Absolutely,
they
you know?
adapt, that's how you know that they love you.
Yeah,
You get me? Because it's like, oh, it's not that you change. It's like, oh, you're evolving, so let me evolve with you. That's it.
Absolutely.
Or,
Right.
or vice versa.
Or vice versa,
You
yeah.
adapt to whatever they got going on,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I feel like it always has to be like, let's uplift each other type.
Yeah, right now that we're go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and yes, I absolutely get that. Your partner can leave,
yeah,
right? Like there can come a point where they separate, right? But that is still, regardless of who your partner is, in the moment that person is your partner, that's the only one that has the capacity and the ability to be that person moving forward.
yeah,
Right.
correct.
Everyone else, like I said, doesn't. Right. So
Yeah.
whoever your partner is, that's the only human being that really truly has that opportunity and the possibility of being the one that's there when most people are not.
Yeah. Now that we're in that topic, look at that post. It was like barbers with one girlfriend or wife are outperforming other barbers by far, and it was crazy because in my shop we were having a conversation with the barbers, and we were telling one of the barbers like, "Oh, we didn't know you were engaged, bro." He's like, "Yeah, we're engaged," and then one of the other barbers was like, don't do it. Like, you know how we joke around a lot? It's
Yeah.
like, he was like, now you're going to be miserable like Diego. And I'm just like, I'm not miserable. Like, I'm happy. What you talking about? Like, I enjoy being married. And we were arguing about whether you should marry or not. And it was like 50-50. Like, half of the barbers were like, nah, like you don't have to get married. Like as long as you have a kid and as long as you build a house and a family, like that's marriage already. Like it's just a paper, you know? So what are your thoughts on that, KO, and then Josie?
On what, on the post itself?
Yeah, the post, because it's all
or
related,
like,
yeah.
you know, that.
Both, man. I want to hear. I know where you're going, KO. I want to hear both. I want to hear both.
I could agree with this, you know, like I feel like when you don't waste, because it takes a lot of time from you if you're dealing with 2 women, 3 women, 4 women.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time for you. It drains from you. They need your attention, you know, let alone it takes money, you know, but most of all, it's like the time that you need, because as you're growing up, you realize that time is so much more valuable than you actually think, you know, when you're living that fast life, you know, and then later on in life, you start to realize that you kind of want to slow time down. Like, man, you start seeing your parents get older, you start seeing your kids getting older and stuff like that. So at that point, you start to see, I feel like is when you actually reflect and you're like, okay, I'm starting to see that life really matters, you know, and you start making better decisions and stuff like that. But as far as like when you have just one partner, you definitely get into the zone of like just being able to share everything that you got going on with just that one person and just getting one answer back, opposed to sharing your thoughts with multiple people and getting 3 or 4 different opinions, and then you're still alone at the end. You know, you don't really get to go anywhere if you get 3 or 4 different opinions. But if you're serious with one person, then at that point, then you guys are working towards something and elevating each other's selves. What do you think, bro?
Absolutely. So, you know what? I seen this post and I never really thought of this, right? Like, to be straight, until I seen this post, I never really thought about like, I wonder what the factor is when it comes to your relationship, right? Like your love life and your success as a barber or your success as a business owner. I don't think there's a one size fits all. For one, I believe that there's people that are single and womenizing or going around that are successful too.
Yeah.
But I do believe that if you do have a more stable, right? Whether it's there's polyamory going on now. I don't know if it's a trend or if it's like something that's actually like happening. But polyamory is a thing now where it's a tri couple, right? Like
I heard that word like 3 years ago, and I was like, "What is that?" And
you're like a pony.
You know what's crazy? That's a lot. A lot of that is actually just either one man and 2 women most of the time.
Yeah, I do see that. I do see that that's more common.
Not really like 2 men and
one
girl.
woman. Yeah,
you know, can you imagine that? Like, so carry on, bro. What you're getting at?
I feel like what I got from that post is someone who is stable in their home, someone who has a stable household. Has a higher possibility of success as a barber and their business.
Correct.
And that I agree with. If there is stability in your household, I do believe that gives you an edge on people who are not in a stable household. And so in a sense, I agree with this, right? Like, and again, there's not one size fits all, right? But in my opinion, my experience, my wife, I absolutely don't believe that I could be wherever it is that I'm at, right? High, low, whatever anybody's perspective is on where I'm at. I don't believe that I could be where I'm at and have what I have right now if it wasn't for who my wife has been to me.
Yeah.
Right. And what she's contributed to me and what she's contributed to like the business. Right.
Yeah.
So I definitely think there's even, I'm pretty sure there's science to back this up. Although I also feel like the people who are single don't necessarily have to feel like they're going to fail.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, I feel like people that are single have not an advantage, but have a lot more like time to be able to execute different things. Like they could be gone for a week getting an educational class, but if you have kids and stuff like that, and your kids in certain things, like sometimes you'd be like, I'd rather be with my kids and my family than actually go and take this shear class in Canada, and it's just like you got to pick and choose like the battles that you want to go through, and I think that when you say that about if you have a great household, so that means you don't have that much stress at home. You don't get home to a wreck, after dealing with 20, 30 clients in a day, dealing with their problems and being, a mentor to them and all that. There's times I know you guys all felt like this where you're just driving home and just like, man, I just can't wait to get home and just hug my partner and play with my kids or, to feel that comfort, and have no idea what you just heard from everyone else that you just attended, and when you have something to go back home to like that, it eases you up to be able to like, let me recharge now. Like I could take a deep breath and tomorrow will be a better day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like more tranquility. You have more peace.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. And I love what you said too, right? Because I think it's also fair to give flowers to the single people.
Yeah.
Right. When you're single, you do have more time for that, right? There is certain things you're going to be able to do when you're single, right? When it comes to your growth, whether it's business growth, whether it's personal growth, whether it's whatever growth you're doing, I do believe you have certain opportunities as a single person that somebody who's in a relationship just does not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's not that it's not maybe that they don't have it. It's just that you won't choose it. You won't, like you said, you'll choose your hanging out with your family over going and taking that shear class in Canada. Or whatever, right? Like, so it's not that you don't have them available to you. It's just that you won't choose it because you'll choose your family. Yeah. Whereas opposed to if you were single, you'd be like, nah, like, well, I got nothing else better to do. Let's fucking go. Like, and you're gone. And that will help you grow more than it probably would somebody who will choose to stay home to be with their wife and kids.
So JOECEE, walk us through your journey. I know you own 2 barbershops, right?
Well, right now, I mean,
you own one.
I own one, right? I own the Covina location.
But were you married before that shop, or how did everything happen? Like your marriage, the barbershop.
So I've been with I've actually known my wife since I was in junior high, right? We haven't been together since then, right? But we've known each other since junior high. We rekindled when I was 24, back in like 2011.
Because of Facebook.
Facebook, yeah. We reconnected through Facebook, right? In 2011, and 2011 we actually met while I was still going to barber school.
Okay.
Right? We're not met, but re-met when I was going to barber school, and then so I was working at a barbershop for about 3.5 years before I opened up the Covina location. And then, so as far as the question you're asking, like the journey behind the shop, right? So I've been into like buying and selling, I guess you could say, ever since I was like in 2nd grade.
Okay.
And so I think having that background of business and sales, like I said, the moment I started barber school was the same moment I decided I'm going to open up a barbershop, right? But I also knew that you had to climb a ladder. I wasn't just going to get out of barber school and open up a shop. Like I understand that that's not the way it works, right? Like I got to learn from people. I got to learn the ropes. How do you do this? I got to build. And so 2015 was when I opened up the Covina location. And that year was wild, bro, because that year we bought a Great Dane pup in December of 2014.
Those are those big Great dogs, right? They grow big? They grow pretty big?
Yeah. So actually we bought our house in April of 2014, right? April of 2014. So we had just bought a house, April of 2014. In December of 2014, we got a Great Dane dog. January 24th of 2015, we had a newborn, right? Which is my 10-year-old now. That's my baby. That's the last one.
Damn.
What were you going to say?
No, it's just like my wife. I was trying to buy her a new dog, and she didn't want me to buy your dog.
Chale.
You already have a kid. I was like, I want the dog.
Yeah. And so my daughter was born in January 24th of 2015. And then right around that time is when I decided, you know what, I'm going to start looking into like seeing if I could like soon open up this whole barbershop thing.
But right there, you're already making money off hair.
Yeah,
just
I was
behind the chair. Just
yeah. So from
hustling.
the moment I started at the barbershop that I was working at, I only worked at one. Well, technically two, right? But for the most part, I really only worked at one shop.
Yeah.
Like the entire time before opening up my own shop, right? I was always the first one in, and I was always the last one out. I was never the best one in the shop, ever, right? Like skill wise, I was by far not the best one in the shop, right? But fortunately for me, I had the work ethic. Like I said, I was the first one there. I was the last one to leave. Back then there was no squire, right? Like, and we didn't even have a sign-in sheet. It was just walk-ins.
Yeah, walk-in.
I was always that guy that greeted everybody walking in. It didn't matter who you were, like, hey, what's up? Welcome, hey, welcome. And I used to always be the one that would memorize who got there last. Right. And so whenever like a barber would become available, they'd be like, all right,
like, you're next.
And I'm like, oh, hey, look, it was George. George is next.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, the guy with the blue shirt. That guy with the blue shirt is next, right? The guy with the red shirt would stand up and I'd be like, no, Manuel, sorry, it was that guy with the blue shirt, right? And the guy with the blue shirt would be like, yeah, I just didn't want to say anything, right? But
so everybody would look, all the barbers would look at you and be like,
yeah,
he knows.
He knows.
You know, it's funny because I'm pretty young in the game, but I'm 27, but I went through that. I went through that stage. Like I'm glad that I still went through that stage where like someone, like every barber's just in their own world. No one wants to like, hey, how's it going? Hey, bro, there's 3 people waiting. You'll be next. You're like the 4th one, but you're like observant. Like you're really observant of everything. Like it's not your job. It's not your job, but
it's just who you are.
It's just work ethic.
Yeah, and I would do it because when I would go to barbershop, sometimes they'll skip me. So I didn't like the people being skipped. Like, nah, bro, you're not next. He's next. And people be like, all right, cool, But I was the one like, no one told you to do it. You just willingly do it.
Yep. And so the other cool thing was I've always loved like listening to other people and stuff, right? So more than anything, the barbers that were next to me, I'd listen to like their conversations, and then we'd all chime in, like my client, their client. And so it was cool. Even though there was some people like I've never cut their hair, I knew that their son had a little league championship last week, right? Like I knew that they had a birthday coming up, right? I knew that guy in that chair was getting his haircut for a job interview. Right. And so like when people would come in, I'd be the one that'd be like, hey, so Manny, like how'd it go at that interview?
Yeah, correct.
Right. Like, and I'd remember those things. And so where that did help me out though, was that whenever that barber was sick, late, didn't show up for whatever reason, had the day off, and they just really needed that haircut on that day, I used to tend to be that barber that they would go to.
Yeah.
Right. And again, I was never the best one skill wise, but I think they felt like they had a connection.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And so they'd come and they'd sit in my chair.
That's true.
Right. So I was super blessed that I was able to build like a really solid clientele base in the first 3.5 years that I was there. And that's the clientele base that I feel like now I have enough clientele to where if I were to go and open up my own shop, I'd be able to sustain it. I'd have to work my ass off until I built it. Right. And by building it, I mean like until I got more barbers.
Yeah.
I'd have to work an insane amount of hours because back then, bro, we were charging $13 for haircuts, right?
Yeah, I remember.
2015, we were still charging 13 to 15 bucks for haircuts, right? And so I was like, dude, I know I'm gonna have to work long ass hours, but I think I can make this happen, right? Like I think I could do this. So anyway, I started looking, right? I started driving around looking for places to rent. I started, talking to people. And then, fortunately or unfortunately, there was a few clients that I asked, like, hey, like, if you guys hear of anything, like, let me know so I can go check it out, right? Because I would love to open up a barbershop soon. That got around to the owner of the shop,
Dang.
right? And so the owner of the shop said, hey, like, can I talk to you? And I was like, yeah. He's like, hey, so I heard that you're planning on opening up a barbershop. Is that true? And I said, well, I mean, I don't have anything concrete, but I mean, it's always been the plan.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like now I'm at a point where I'm at least looking at what like the possibility would be of me opening up a shop. And he was like, okay, cool. Yeah. Like he understood.
Like, yeah,
and then
you're fired.
I get a text message like 2 hours later saying, "Hey, Joe, you know what? I thought about it, and I think it's best if you just go to the shop and pick up your stuff."
Damn.
And so he let me go. Right? I had no shop yet. I had nothing to rent, nothing. Like it was just like the idea of starting to look for something. And so I was super blessed that I had a friend named Joey and Andres that they own their own barbershop in La Puente. And so for the next 2-3 months after that, I was able to cut hair out of their shop while I was looking for a shop. And then that's when I found the Covina shop. And that's where I'm telling you, like the whole wife thing, you know, like the support of it. That shop was pretty much built by her and my mother-in-law, right? Because
Which shop? Covina?
The Covina shop, right? And what I mean by built is like the literal, they painted, right? Acomodaron todo, hung up mirrors, put up lighting, frames, like, because I had to cut hair.
Yeah.
Like I had to do as many haircuts as possible because I just got fired from my job. I didn't know how consistent I was going to be, being that I just had to suddenly leave.
And you already got a mortgage, right?
And I already had a mortgage from the last year. We had just had a baby, right? Like this was like in April. No, this was like in March of 2015.
What were you doing before barbering that you were able to get a mortgage?
Barbering was what got me. I was able to get my house through barbering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you were working at that barbershop for a few years before you actually started talking about, hey, I want to open up my shop. Because at this point, you've been there for a few years to be able to build relationships, to have a strong clientele, to let the word out that you're going to be opening up a barbershop.
Yes.
Tell me more about, you already knew your partner already cutting hair already?
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't doing nothing at all.
She was pretty much like stay-at-home mom.
Oh, okay.
Right, which was, man, so the first year of my daughter's life, right, she was a colicky baby. And so she was always crying.
Yeah.
Always, bro, like always. And it's like such a desesperación, bro, to like you can't talk to me. You can't tell me what the fuck is wrong. Like, dude, there would be times
you're
where
like sleep deprived and everything, huh?
There would be times where I would call my mom and I would say, "Mom, can you go to the house and check on Jasmine and the kids?" My mom would get home, bro, find both of them crying. Right? My wife and my daughter crying, bro, because my wife didn't know what the fuck to do.
Damn.
Right? She didn't know what to do. And so no, like for the first, I would say for like the first 2 years. Yeah, like the first 2 years of the business, I was grinding in the shop doing haircuts, and she was grinding at home while also grinding with me at the shop, not by cutting hair, but dude, she'd take me lunch, right? Like the other day, her and I were actually talking about this, right? Like it's like a full circle moment. There was quite a bunch of times where she'd come to the shop, bro, and she'd feed me
while you're cutting,
as I'm cutting hair, right? Because I was booked back to back to back to back. And I would open the shop at 7 a.m. and the shop would close at 10 p.m. Right. And most nights I would leave at 8 or 9 p.m. And because I had a mortgage, because I had the rent, because I had an overhead, because I had bills, because we had all of this shit, like I had no choice but to be back to back as much as I could.
Yeah.
Right. And so she was holding it down at home, coming into the shop, fucking feeding me, helping me with the finances. Like she used to be an accountant before, right? So she understands numbers. So she created a ledger. This is back before we started putting everything in Excel and stuff like that. She created a ledger where every day she'd write in there how much each barber made, how much the commission was for them, how much was cash, like everything. Like she took care of all of that, along with like helping me with designing, you know, certain things for the barbershop, helping me with posts. Like I would post, but she would help me with some of like the ideas for a lot of that stuff. And just the other day, I took a lunch at the shop and I went to go get some fruit from the frutero, and I took the fruit to the shop. I took her a thing, but then when I got there, her schedule was just booked. Like she was just booked. And so I was like, fuck, you're not going to have a chance to eat this shit. So, and then I started feeding her the fruit. Right. And like, that was like the moment, like we remember, like, fuck, remember back in the day when I used to go to the shop and I used to feed you, and now you're fucking over here and now you're feeding me because I'm booked back to back.
Full circle moment, huh?
So that was definitely a full circle moment. But yeah, man, she was holding it down at home. She was helping me hold it down with the shop. 2 years later is when she started going to cosmetology school to get her cosmetology license. In that time, I was teaching her how to also do barbering. And then she was also able to get her barber's license on top of her Cosmo license. And then she started working with me at the shop, doing home and the shop, and the shop. And
so why do you say you only have one shop? Because the other one is hers?
The other one is hers, right? So you could say we have two.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, great,
we
great.
like as a household have two, right? Like as a couple, we have two, right? Like as a husband and wife, like we have two, right? But again, so and I guess like a vulnerable moment, right? Like so, my wife and I went through a pretty rough patch, right? I would say from like maybe like 2022. Right, end of 2021 to like beginning of 2022, things were just not going very well.
And how many years of marriage do you have right there? Like 8?
Well, dude, we've been together for 14.
But right there, married.
Right now.
But at
14.
that point,
At that point,
let me see, that was 3 years ago.
like
So-
9, maybe?
No, 11 already.
11?
11
you had
years.
11 years of marriage.
No, what? So we're not even. So we got married in 2021.
Oh, okay.
Right, but we've
been together.
We've been
Together.
We've been together since 2011. We've lived together since 2012. Right,
Oh,
like we've
damn.
lived together since 2012. We got married in 2021. We got divorced in 2023, and we're still here today.
Damn.
And so, like again, is there something that we can't talk about? There really isn't, right? Because at the end of the day, it's my story.
So
and,
after a decade, you guys have a slip up.
yeah. After a decade, I mean, and that, don't get me wrong, relationships are never perfect.
No, they're not.
Right.
No,
So it's not like 10 years.
That's what makes you
we're
different,
perfect.
and you know what makes the imperfect perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So the 10 years weren't perfect for sure. Right. But it wasn't until like the decade that like things really started getting like, fortunately, I feel super blessed that like what I'm saying was like pretty bad was not like that bad, right? Like it wasn't like domestic violence. It wasn't anything fucking crazy
just
like that.
misunderstandings,
It was just like
egos,
miscommunication, egos, not listening to each other, right? Like being very selfish, you know, on certain things that we want in life, things like that. And so all of those things kind of culminated towards the end of 2022, beginning of 2023, which is when like we just said, fuck it. And that's when we called it quits.
Damn.
Right. And so we actually went as far as like getting divorced. We got married in 2021, by the way. Badass wedding. I don't regret it at all. Right. Like if I could say like all I got out of marriage was that experience, I'll fucking take it, bro, because we had a badass wedding.
Right.
We had it in Sayulita, Nayarit. There was a destination wedding.
Damn.
Fucking dope, right?
All
like
inclusive.
I'll always remember that experience. Always, right? But married in 2021, divorced in 2023. And in up until 2023, we both ran both shops, right? We both managed both shops. The money from both shops was all mixed into pretty much like one bunch.
Yeah.
And however both shops performed was completely up to both of us.
Yeah.
Right? Like we both contributed to the performance and the lack of performance of both shops. Right? Like we were both accountable for both of them, right? Up until 2023. In 2023, when we went through that patch, is when we decided, all right, like how are we gonna do this? Right? Like we're no longer gonna be together. So what do we do with the house? What do we do with everything? And dude, like for me and for her, fortunately, like a lot of people that I've shared this story with tell me, dude, like what you were able to do in 20 minutes. I was barely able to do in, 2 years with 20 grand worth of lawyers.
Yeah.
Right. Like, because my wife and I, we really just sat down and I think both of us just understood that everything we've created up until that point couldn't have been created without the other. It just couldn't have.
Yeah. Great.
Right. So doing a 50-50 split on everything was just like, I had no evidence to prove otherwise.
Yeah.
I had no evidence that would tell me or her or anybody else that I deserved more than she did, and she deserved more than I did.
Yeah.
Right. There was just no evidence that would back up that claim, and so we did just that. Right. We did just that. We sold the pad, half yours, half mine. Right. The shops. It was like, all right, who takes which shop? Right. I had a stronger connection to Covina, right? Because I started there and I was cutting there. The barbers there, I had a stronger connection with them. And because I already had that strong connection with Covina, just naturally she had a stronger connection with San Dimas. right? Like that
Okay.
was the one she was kind of at a whole lot more than Covina. And so it just seemed right. Like, all right, cool. So I'll take San Dimas. You take Covina. We're good to go. Right. And so that's how the split, I guess you could say, of those shops happened. But again, we both use Squire. We have each other's system, right? Like if I'm fully booked at the shop or I don't have a spot somebody wants, I say, would you like me to check our San Dimas location? Vice versa. I mean, at the end of the day, we know the money is kind of going to the same pot, even though even though it's like not right. But it's actually been a blessing, right?
Yeah,
Like,
so how was that reconciliation stage when you guys got back? Like was
Wait.
there? Oh yeah.
Yes.
I think that's a really good question. But before you move on to that, I have a question in regards to how much do you value that break that you had with her, and how long was the break before the reconciliation started to happen?
the first question, I value it enormously, right? Because you don't.
And
know
I ask you because I want the listeners out there to know that not everyone's life is perfect, you know, and us as, you know, entrepreneurs and as people that have to get up and figure it out and go get it, we also face these things, you know, that, you know, the 9-to-5 people get faced, you know, and we still have to get up and see and make it happen. We don't go anywhere to report to anybody or anything like that, but we still have to get up and go get it. But carry on, bro.
And I'm glad, I fucking love that you said that, KO, because if you think about it, right? Like imagine 4 people, right? Someone comes up to that first person and says, hey, we got a problem, right? That person goes, hey, we got a problem. That person goes, hey, we got a problem. The third person goes, hey, we got a problem. And then comes KO,
Yeah.
right? Which is the owner of the shop, right? KO goes, fuck. You got to figure that shit out.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's
bro.
nobody. There's nobody to look back on, right? Like
Yeah.
you are put in a position where you have no one really to fall back on, right? And if you do, right? Because some people say, like, what do you mean? Like nobody does it on their own. You have your wife, you have your mentor, you have your coach. Yes, but you have to actually take the actions to go out and look for that support.
Yeah.
It's not just like the 3 that were in front of you that they didn't have to do much. They just had to turn around and say, hey, we got a problem.
Yeah.
No, you had to actually either 1, make it happen, or 2, find somebody to help you make it happen. But it was still on you.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So yes, I absolutely value that experience because it does show you, it gives you contrast,
Yeah.
right? Like that saying goes, you don't know what you have until you lose it. And it's so true, right? And so you're able to almost value that person a whole lot more when you see what life is when that person is not around, right? And that's not to say that like you can't be without a certain person. We can all make it work, right? But it's like, but do you want to?
Yeah.
Right? Do you want to? So the separation, you could say it was really only for like a good 6 months, right? Like it was a good 6 months where the experience we had with each other was this is no longer going to happen, right? Like 6 months, I would say like 6 months to 9 months. Both of us were in a state of mind of this is not going to work. We're never getting back together. Like we're going to start doing our own thing, right?
Yeah.
And then after about like 9 months is when, you know, conversations started happening and stuff like that. And then little by little, it started becoming into like, okay, like maybe, right? Like maybe we should, not that we should, right? But I think I want to make this work, right? I think
Yeah.
I choose for this to have a reconciliation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually, I value it more because it gives you that interruption, right? That's what my wife and I call it. We don't necessarily call it a separation. We call it like an interruption, right?
Yeah.
Like our life was business as usual. And that's one thing that got in the way too, KO.
The business?
Like, no. Like after 10 years, it's almost
the
like
same
monotone.
cycle?
It's
just like-
it's just going.
Yeah,
and
that's why I was
going.
asking you, like, after how long did that slip up happen? Because I feel like after 10 years, everything becomes a routine, a cycle.
There's no contrast.
So you have to do something to rekindle that love again and that fire. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but
And so
you
everybody
guys-
listening,
but
he's not
like-
saying you have to get a divorce to do that, by the way.
Or you have to go out and fuck up to start some problems to be
Yeah,
able
yeah,
to, you know,
no,
like
no.
it's nothing like that. It's just, I think it's just life throws you these curveballs, and sometimes you learn so much from these curveballs that that you become a better person. I feel like it's part of growth. I feel like if you don't go through these things, then you always stay at that same level and you never get to elevate.
Yep.
Yeah.
As an individual and as a partner, as a group, and as leaders of your family, because at this point you guys were parents to pets and to your kids, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And that's a great that's a great analogy to what you were saying, because it's like your muscle, right? Like if you want to grow your muscles, when you lift, what happens to your muscles?
It rips.
They rip.
Yeah.
Right. Like you have to have something rip if you want to grow. Like that saying goes, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? Because that's the only way you grow, right? If you stay stagnant, right? If you just stay comfortable, there's not much growth in comfort, right? And so for us, that was just a big ass rip. Right? Like that was a huge rip, right? That maybe was not like necessary, but still it happened. It happened exactly the way it did. And it was one of those rips that after it happened and we healed, right? And we're still healing, the growth was enormous, right? The growth was enormous. And it also gave us it created that opportunity for us to be like, all right, if we're going to continue this shit, we gotta be clear about some stuff. Yeah. Right? Because if we just go back to business as usual, right? Like if we just get back together and go back to that, like that's just not going to work out, right? So what do you need from me? What do I need from you? How are we going to make this work, right? And let's just put it all out on the table, and then we can work from there, right?
And how much of that is practical? How much of that is like actually sitting down? Maybe like, you know, sometimes you hear, like you see on Instagram, like people like, I have a meeting with my wife every week and we sit down and we talk about our goals. But some of that sounds like took like cliche, like if they're just doing it, like are they really sitting down, you know? So that's what I'm saying. How much of that is practical, where it's like she knows what I want and what I need and vice versa?
How much of it is practical? Maybe not a whole lot, but how much of it do I believe should be practical? All of it, right? All of it. As cliche as that sounds, if they're actually doing that every week, I can absolutely see that relationship being successful.
Yeah. Right.
Like one of the things that I learned through doing some seminars, and same with the business, right? Like one of the things that I've learned, one of the lessons you can say that I've learned in business is clarity. How important clarity is, right? Not just assuming that everybody knows what your expectations are, and that they're gonna follow in line, right? And so one of the sayings that my wife and I have when it comes to business is, don't manage people, manage promises, right? Another way to say it is, don't manage people, manage agreements, right? Okay. And so going back to the couples thing, if these people are sitting down every week, right, and they're clear about what their experience was of the last week, right, what they liked, what they didn't like, what made them feel good, what made them feel uncomfortable, right? And how you move forward from that, dude, like there's nowhere you can go but succeeding in your relationship if your expectations are clear. If what worked and what didn't work are clear, right? Because too many of us walk around in our relationships like, he should just fucking know. Right? She should just know. Come on, like I get home, I'm tired, right? Like she should just know I don't want to go throw out the trash. Like she shouldn't just know, right? Like if there was an agreement, like, hey babe, so I know that Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays are your busiest days at the shop, right? And you're on your feet all day. When you get home on those days, our son is going to throw out that trash. But Sunday through Wednesday, just know like that's kind of your thing when you get home. Then now you can get home on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and say she should just fucking know, because there's an agreement. There's a clear agreement that on those days you're busy and that when you get home, you don't throw out the trash, right? But thinking that your wife should just know. That's one of the biggest mistakes that I feel we make, not just in relationships, but in business.
In business too.
Like, dude, that guy should just know to greet people when they come in. It's common courtesy. It's customer service. What the fuck? No, like if there's an agreement that, hey, look, if you're going to work at my shop, just know that the moment a client walks in, we all greet, right? Is that something that you're okay with? Nah, I'm not going to fuck. Okay, great. Then this is not the shop for you. Thank you so much. You know, good luck with the next one, right? Or are you going to be okay with greeting people when they walk in? Yeah, that should be all right. Cool. You're fucking hired, right? And now there's that clear agreement. Yeah. And if that person doesn't greet the person when they walk in, now you can be like, hey, Diego, So I've noticed in the past couple of days, right, you've been a little quiet. You haven't greeted anybody when they come in. I'm not saying you're fucking up, but is everything okay? Right? Like, is everything good with you? Right? Because I get that we have an agreement, but I get that sometimes we're in a funk, and I just want to know if that's where you're at. Nah, Joe, I'm actually good. There's nothing. Okay, awesome. Well, then in that case, could we just kind of stick to the agreement, and when people walk in, just, say what's up? Yeah. Right, but I'm not reprimanding. I'm not forcing you to. No, you agree to it. Like, it's in writing. Like it's in writing. You signed this paper that said that we greet clients when they walk in. Do you agree, yes or no? You put yes and you signed. Right? Yeah. And that's what it looks like to manage agreements instead of not manage people.
Yeah, now that we're in that topic, when I experienced it a lot, like a lot of barbershop owners try to tell their barbers what to do exactly. And last time we were having the conversation too in the pod, and you were saying like that, like legally you can't, right? Legally you can't tell them. You can't. But that's like something that I see in my shop too, is like, well, you can't force a barber to dress better, like you kind of don't. But then KO was telling me like that in his shop, he had some rules too with dress code and stuff like that. I always felt like, man, if I have a barbershop, y'all better follow my culture inside this barbershop. But I feel like you avoid all that if you have a good hiring process. So everything has to be done in the hiring process, because once you hire that person, you can't really be like, hey, why you don't greet people? Why you don't come early? Why you don't use hot towels, Like, for example, one of my pet peeves right now is when barbers use hot towels, but they put them in the microwave.
Food goes there, bro. You don't do that.
I really don't like that. But then again, you can't force the other barber, or I can't tell my owner like, hey, bro, can you tell these barbers not to do this, because you legally can't, right?
Well, so, and just to be clear, you legally can't unless you have an agreement, right? Like you can have agreements with them, right? Like, let's just say booth rent, right? This is what we're really talking about. If a barber is booth rent and they're 1099, like, you legally can't tell them how to dress, what hours to have, like all of that stuff, right? Like, you can't force them to do that, but you can have them sign an agreement, right? Like, hey, look, if you want to rent a space at my shop, right? These are the agreements. Now, you don't have to rent a space here. Just know that, right? Like, you don't have to rent the space, right? But if you do, this is how you conduct yourself. And these are the agreements you agree to if you want to sign this lease for this chair. Yeah. Right. And if that barber signs that agreement, then you're not telling them what to do anymore. You're just holding them to what they said they would do. They agreed
voluntarily. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
They agreed that they would do that. So you're not forcing them. You're just enforcing. You're not enforcing them. You're enforcing the agreement they made. Okay. But again, it's an agreement they made with you.
Yeah, they signed or something.
Right, they signed. Right, and it's like with me, like I now knowing all of this stuff, I have in my hiring process, I have like a whole packet that like my barbers sign, right? And there's agreements that we have as barbers, and so it's like it's straight up. Look at if any of these agreements on this list you don't agree with, talk to me. Let's see which one we can modify if it works for the both of us. Yeah. Right. But if there's some agreements on here that I just like, I can't modify for you, then it's okay. Just know that like this just is not the shop for you.
I like that.
Right? It's just not the shop for you. And then you just you move on to the next person, right? And it's not like they're dispensable. It's just they don't match the culture you're building. They don't match the vision that you have for your business, right? And so, yeah, in a barbershop or in a relationship, I do feel like having clear agreements as to like what you expect of the other person is super important for success.
Yeah. Kale, I know you own the shop too, Kale. I don't know if you currently do that, but do you think that's a good idea, like for the future, or no?
In regards to what, like having a contract?
An agreement. Yeah, an agreement contract.
Well, I don't have a actual paper agreement, but I feel like the people that I have hired, I've hand selected them to come this far to interview with me. After inquiring them through Instagram and all that stuff. And I feel like you being a shop owner and being the leader of the pack, you don't allow these things to get to you if you don't wiggle all these things out when they first message you to want to get a booth rent or whatnot. I don't have a contract with anybody, but everyone knows clearly the rules of the shop. There's not 1,000 rules that you need to follow. It's very simple. You know, no sandals, don't park inside Monday through Wednesday. I'm sorry, Thursday through Saturday, don't park inside of the barbershop. You can't wear sandals. And what else? Just, you know, make sure that you're on time with your clients and stuff like that. Make sure you, if you're closing, to turn off the AC, you know, and
lock the door, turn off the
lock
lights,
the door, you know,
TV's off.
Because even if these things happen, there's also repercussions. Like if you can only tell the barber so many times, and if they keep messing up, like for example, sometimes the back door was being left open, right? And it's a huge responsibility, and it's gonna fall on the shop owners that something goes missing, anything like that. So it continuously was to happen. So what do? We put a lock in the back. So now that when the guys park in the back, when I leave, I make sure I lock that door, or the manager locks the door whenever they leave. And now they have to go all the way around to get their cars.
Okay.
But so there's certain things that have happened that because of mistakes that happen, these things are regulated. You know, like there's fees also too, you know. You get caught cutting hair with sandals, you get told once, then twice you get put in a group message with, you know, the owners letting you know, hey, today you were, you know, if this was to happen again, then you got to pay $50. You know, if it happens again, you know, it doubles. It's $100.
I like that. I really like that.
But the thing is because it's just the culture. When you come into my barbershop, the aesthetic is nice and everything, and they look at you and you're in sandals, and I spent X amount of money, which doesn't matter, right? But it looks nice in here, and everyone's flow. Everybody's looking. If your partner next to you can follow the rules, you need to follow the rules too. You guys all pay the same amount of rent. Follow the rules the way it's supposed to be. And it's not something, I'm not asking you like, hey, you got to have clean shoes when you come to work, something, you know, crazy. No, it's just very simple black and white rules that I feel like is very easy to follow. For the type of stuff that I provide for my team, I feel like the bare minimum you can do is just follow those rules.
Absolutely.
You know, like, but if I wasn't doing anything for my team, I don't show up, I go once a week, and I go in and I start trying to press them for certain things, it's just like, you're not even here. You know, like you just have this building and I just pay you rent. And so I feel like you have to follow through too with certain things as an owner. But as far as contracts, I only have a contract with my manager. Because there's other things, other perks that need to get taken care of. Yeah, you have to make sure that the drinks are stocked up for sure Thursday through the weekend. You got to make sure that the barbershop's clean twice a week. But there's also compensation with that. You know, there's the, you know, if you want to take a vacation, you know, you don't have to pay the booth rent for that week or whatnot. You know, I mean, just multiple things that these things do need to be in writing because it's so difficult to remember everything. And if it's in writing, if some of the things that are not being followed with this person that's being compensated for it, then we have it in writing like, hey, you agreed to this. This is why you have these type of perks, because I believe in you and I feel like you're responsible enough to follow everything. So that's why you got this going on, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at. And as far as I've been running the shop for a whole year, I used to run another barbershop in the past, you know, but as far as me being the owner and the leader and being the decision maker in there, I have to set the foundation down with the rules and just be very clear. And, you know, I know that things change along the way, but so far for the first year, everything's been working great. We've adjusted to some things that weren't working, and now things are going good.
That's awesome, bro.
Josie, do you have any perks like that? Like, because I don't know how it is in other states, but if a barber misses like that whole week of work, do you make them pay?
So I don't do booth rent.
Oh, you don't do booth rent?
I don't do
you
booth
currently
rent.
don't do booth rent?
Not currently. I don't do booth rent.
Never? Oh, okay.
I will not.
Oh, damn. That's dope. So
until the booth rent model changes, I will not.
Oh, okay. In what regards it changes?
In the fact that I feel like, and we talked about this, right? I posted about it. I posted the clip about it where I feel like booth rent hasn't really gone up in the last decade.
Yeah.
Right. Yet prices have more than doubled in the last decade.
So you think booth rent should be like $350?
So I think booth rent, I think a good like average, like the base, like the absolute base booth rent, right, for any shop should be 8 times the amount of a walk-in haircut price.
Okay.
Right. So your booth rent, right? Like KO, your booth rent, you're already fully booked barber. You want to charge $70, go for it. Right. But if a client walks in, right, that the client gets charged 40. The shop price is 40. Right. Now, obviously, as a booth renter, if you want to raise your prices, you can, because you have that ability as a booth renter. But the shop price is $40. Right. I feel like the minimum booth rent should be 8 times that a week. So if you charge $100, like if you have that fucking shop that's marble everything, and you guys have the Alexi Michael fucking haircuts going on and shit, right? Like, and you guys charge $100 as like your base price, then your weekly booth rent should be $800, right? It's just like if you're at a $15 shop, which they're still out there, right?
Absolutely.
Then your booth rent should be $60, $120 a week, right? So that's what I feel like the base.
But so far, how you like the commission model? Has it been really good to you? Like really profitable?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Right. So look at the commission model you can say is more owner friendly than barber friendly. But that's only if you're a fucking hell of a barber. And I don't mean that you're good at cutting hair, but you're a business person, right? If you're the type of barber that you can acquire clientele, retain clientele, and build a sustainable clientele base, then yes, a commission model maybe isn't the best for you, right? But if you're a barber that, again, you like taking your vacations once every 2 months, right? You like taking a day off here and there. You like just going to work, clocking in, clocking out, right? And just doing as much as you can. Then commission is going to help you out, right? Commission is going to favor you more in that case, right? But again, there's barbers for everything, right? Yeah. There's barbers for everything. One thing that there's this guy named Cowboy Kobos, right? That's on Instagram, and there was a post that I don't remember what post it was that he posted the other day where he was talking about like booth rent and commission. That's what it was. He was saying if you're a commission shop, if you work at a commission shop, then your business owner should be getting you clients. Your business owner should be providing this. Your business owner should be providing that, right? So I agree though to a certain extent. By the way, shout out Cowboy Kobos. I think most of his content is actually pretty good. There are some things I don't agree with, right? I don't. But for the most part, I think a lot of the videos he posts are actually fucking very, very valuable, offer not a knowledge. And I like the fact that he just says shit. Like, he doesn't give a fuck what you think, bro. This fool just says it. And I love that about him, right? But there is that commission video he posted. Yeah. And so my thoughts on that though, right?
Is this one commission barbers are employees?
So you're a commission barber? Might as well work at Amazon.
Let's see.
When you're doing commission, you're not making the shop owner money when you're not there. So are you truly independent? I say no. When you're commission, you're actually an employee. You have to understand. When you're not at the shop making money, you're not making the owner any money. So he wants you there and he wants to treat you like an employee. In most places, they do 70-30 splits, meaning if you produce $2,000 a week, you're giving the shop owner $600 a week instead of just paying them booth rent, a flat rate of $200 to $300 a week. And you can't control your prices. If you're so busy you want to charge more, guess what? You got to ask for permission. Or if you want to grow and move to another shop or do your own thing, you can't take your clients with you. So if you need a shop owner to hold your hand and you want to pay commission, that's on you. If you ask me, I'll tell you every single time. Bet on yourself, guys. Do better.
See, so
you're a commission.
So this was not it, by the way. This was not it, right? This was not it. But
this is very bold, right?
But this is very bold, and I love this, right? I love this to a certain extent, right? To a certain extent. Can you, if you're making $2,000 a month, right? You're paying your If you're making $2,000 a week, because that's really what it is, right? I think he might have said a month, but if you're making that a month, then you're really only paying $150. Like the shop is only making $150 a week off of you, not $600 a week.
Yeah, that's 70-30, right?
Yeah, at 70-30, right? Which that's what I do. I do a 70-30 split. Now there's a lot of things that I don't follow.
30% for you, right?
30% for the shop, 100% of their tips go to them, 70% of their cuts go to them, right? But see, he's talking, what I believe he's talking about is your normal, what we've all known to be your normal way of doing commission. Right, like for me, if I always tell my barbers, look if you guys are fully booked, right? Like if you're a fully booked barber and you want to raise your prices, go for it, because you can, right? Like you're already fully booked, right? You're already turning people down.
But the more money for them, the more money for you too.
Yeah, of course.
So that's why you also would encourage it, right?
Well, but see, at that point, it wouldn't just be for the money, right? Yes. Is that a side effect of it? Of course, right? A side effect of them charging more is that I make more, right? But if that barber is just fully booked all the time, never wants to raise their prices because they're afraid of losing clients, I'm not going to be like, nah, come on, you got to make me more money. You got to raise your prices. Nah, I'm never going to do that because again, it's not about the money, right? The money comes as a side effect of them growing. Absolutely. Right. But like, for example, my barbers, right? Like if I have a certain amount, that if they hit that gross amount in that month, the next month they get what's called an FOS, which is freedom of schedule, right? And so fortunately, most of my barbers actually have freedom of schedule, right? Like where like.
So why wouldn't they have freedom of schedule now?
Why wouldn't they have? Because
they're on commission, right?
Well, not only that, but what are we all trying to do as barbers? We're trying to grow.
Yeah.
Right. We're trying to grow. The way that
I also think that barbers too take on this career because they don't want nobody to tell them what to do, what time to go in, when to leave. They don't want anyone on their back because why? Because they've been having somebody on their back at that 9-to-5 job. So a lot of the times they don't want to continue being under anyone. So they want to be independent, which is a big word in the barber industry. They want to become independent. But a lot of people don't follow what it takes to be independent. They still have to be babied and, do all
booth
that
rent,
stuff.
Rent a studio, open your own business, period.
Yeah.
Period. Right? Again, I tell people when I hire them, you don't have to work here. Like you just don't.
Yeah.
Right? Like you don't. Like
Why do you think some barbers do want to work with you though? At that barbershop?
Well,
hey, I want to go there because they have they're the best barbershop in the city. They're the most known barbershop in the city. Or what do you think? Like,
honestly, I've never really like asked each barber like why are you here, right? But like I know I run a nice clean business, right? I run a clean business. I'm an open book. They can ask me anything and I'll answer it, right? My commitment as a shop owner is to create more business owners, right? Like I want to see every single barber that goes to my barbershop open up their own shop, right? And ultimately it's not so that they can make more money. As a side effect, they will, right? But for me, I want to create more jobs. If one of my barbers goes and opens up a shop, that dude's gonna give an opportunity to another 5-6 barbers.
Yeah, it's true.
Dude, I've had like 9 barbershops come out of my shop already. 9 barbers that have worked with me went on to open up their own shops and they're fucking successful and I love it.
And how many of those 9 are commission based?
Like 7.
You know what I'm noticing, KO? That more like in the IE and more on that side, they're doing commissions a lot. And then you come right here to like the West, we're all doing booth rent. I noticed that pattern a lot.
I think commission is gonna within the next 10 years is gonna make a comeback, right? I really do believe that commission is gonna make a comeback, right? Now again, I'm trying to figure out a way to have commission work for both sides.
Man, all the young barbers don't want to hear it, bro.
Look, if you want, again, you want to be independent, right? Go and do your own thing. It's plain and simple, right? Plain and simple. Go do your own thing, right? But if you want to, like, I don't believe you're fucking independent if you're renting a booth at somebody's shop.
You're not.
Right?
You're not.
KO is still providing you with toiletries. KO is still providing you with a fridge
Trash
in the
can,
back.
everything
They're
mops.
providing you with the trash can, a cleaning service, a towel service. They're providing you with lighting. They're paying your electricity. They're the ones that are taking full responsibility and accountability for that shop continuing to fucking run.
Yeah.
Right? I can't go to my fucking landlord and tell him buy me toilet paper. He's going to tell me to fuck off.
Yeah.
That's not the way it works. Right?
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
truly independent. You're truly independent.
Yeah.
Right? Because you got your own fucking shop. Like I said, you turn around, you got nobody to look at. Right? That's fucking independence.
Yeah.
Right there. Right? You rent a booth at someone else's shop, you're not independent, bro. You like
Correct.
you can
So
label
do
it
you
how
feel
you
like
want.
those like a shop? But I mean, overall, I feel like the that's why I love the barber industry, because you can grow in whichever way that you want. If you want to do commission, if you want to do booth, if you want to be a studio, if you want to be a celebrity barber, there's room for you in
All of it.
All of it, you know, and you can decide which one you want to be part of and be successful in each and every one of them.
Absolutely.
You know, but I think that some of the booth rent shops, I feel like you're also helping them like grow and molding them into being able to be independent the way that you are.
And you could do that
know?
in a commission shop too.
Yeah, and you could also do that in a commission shop.
Absolutely.
You know, I just think that when you're in a booth rent shop, like you say, you're not so independent because he's paying your light bill, he's doing this and that, right? But that's kind of more of like a studio based, where when you rent a studio, they're also like, do you have to pay your own light bill when you
Yes, you do.
rent a
I think
studio?
you do.
You do, bro.
I think
You do.
I think.
And if you don't, it's included like
In your rent.
It's included in your rent,
Yeah.
right? It's
You,
included
you
in
know, right now when you were saying this, I hope GT doesn't watch this part, but when he was saying that, I was like, damn, GT should charge us more for booth rent, because he is providing the toilet paper, the towels, the fridge,
and here's another point that
and there's things that we don't pay. We
exactly
just
you guys don't, and not only that, think about it.
But
It's
the-
not just the financial thing. I know we
Yeah,
talk a lot about
yeah,
finances,
yeah.
bro, and that's not that's not fully it, right? That's not fully it. It's also this.
the mindset.
It's also
Yeah.
this. As a booth rent barber, you go, you do your haircuts, you use the toilet paper, you fucking use the like you and then you go home and you don't really worry.
Yeah.
You may have to worry about like, are you going to be busy the next day, right? Like, do you have clientele? But you're not really worried about a break-in. You're not really worried about the building burning down. You're not really worried about a lot of things that KO, me, GT, that you kind of have to always have here. It's always
Yeah.
in you, in the back of all of the things you
Yeah.
have to be responsible for as the owner of the shop, which booth rent barbers just don't have to worry about.
correct. Because
Right?
you
and this is why most people don't open shops, guys. Right?
Yeah.
Most people don't want that kind of responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? You
That's
just don't.
what like kind of separates the people that do and the people that don't.
Exactly.
because,
Your
I mean,
booth rent
it's-
barbers don't have to manage. How many barbers you got, KO?
9.
9. Your booth rent barbers don't have to manage the other 8. You do.
Yeah.
Right? Or one of your barbers doesn't have to manage your manager.
Yeah.
You do though.
Yeah.
Right? And so this is why I'm saying, like, are you like yes, you're independent, but are you really independent? Right?
Now
And
in
not
my
only-
case,
Uh-huh.
I like a lot of people like, hey, you should open up a barbershop already. And sometimes I'm just like, well, GT lets me charge whatever I want here. I could come in whatever time I want. I don't gotta worry about the lights. I don't gotta worry
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
And I could leave at whatever time, and I go home and I don't worry about nothing. So
Yeah.
I told everyone, like, I think for the next year or two, I'm gonna just grind it out here, because I don't want that responsibility yet. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's a
Yeah.
lot. It will be a lot.
It is.
You know?
It is a lot.
So my advice for booth rent barbers is, like, if you're there, take advantage of it.
Take advantage.
Take full
Absolutely.
advantage of it. Like,
Absolutely.
grind it out. Be there every day. Use everything all the amenities that they're providing for you. You know,
Bro, because you got such an opportunity. Like I
Yeah.
told you in the episode we recorded, like even if you do charge 8 times whatever the walk-in haircut is a week, right? Most of us do 10 haircuts in a day. You're profiting 2 haircuts at day 1.
that day
Which
one, then
means you
still
got 6 more days.
Yeah.
You got 6 more days of profit. Even if the base booth rent model was 8 haircuts a week. You got 6 days of opportunity to make as much money as you fucking want, right?
Yeah.
And so that, like if you are a booth rent barber, take advantage of it, right? Like when we turn independent and we go open our own business, we don't go open our business to get more time off, to get more independence. We open up our own business for the the future possibility of independence.
Yeah.
Right. But we don't open it up to have independence right away,
Right.
which is what most booth rent barbers do. They want to go do booth rent so that immediately nobody tells them what to do. Immediately they have more independence. Immediately they, right? Like, but again, this is why a lot of people do booth rent and not open up a business.
Yeah.
Because you don't get that perk. Right.
Yeah.
When you go and open up a shop, you actually get more responsibility than less. As opposed to when you go from a commission shop to a booth rent shop, you get less responsibility, less hassle, more freedom immediately.
Yeah.
The moment that's
But
done.
now a booth rent, like if you're a booth renter barber and you don't have the social skills and you don't have the client acquisition and client retention, then it backfires on you. Because I seen it. I seen people who do booth rent and you're still only profiting like 300. Like you said, the first day you cover your whole booth rent and then you're not profiting at all week because you don't know how to do marketing. You don't know how to communicate with your clients. You know, you don't know how to be on schedule. You don't know how to be there early. It'll backfire on you. So
Absolutely.
This will lead us to the next question, Josie. Like, how is personal development? Does it go hand in hand with the success that a barber experiences nowadays? Because I do see it like that. Like as I get better as in personal development, as I evolve as a person, I attract different clients. I retain different clients. I could charge a little bit more because I'm more responsible with my time. So what do you think about the personal development in the barbershop?
So I think personal development does go hand in hand with success, like period, right?
Yeah.
Now, do I believe there are some instances where you could be so skilled, like actual skilled at what you do, where personal development doesn't necessarily go hand in hand with your success? Yeah. Right. But again, it just depends on what you define success to be. Right. If you're defining success based off of money, right? Then yeah, you probably don't need as much personal development to be successful, right? But I definitely feel like personal development to a certain extent is needed if you want to create growth and you want to create something sustainable.
Yeah, and impact. And you want to have impact.
And have an impact. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I was talking to this barber and he was telling me like, Diego, I'm not famous on social media, but I cut like, I forgot how many people he cuts a week, almost 100 a week. And he was like, but when I step out, everybody knows me. Everybody knows me because he does 30-minute slots. So imagine in one day he's cutting 20 people. So in a week, almost 100 people, like 100 people know him. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
bro, this
a week.
What you're saying right now, bro, literally today, right? Fucking before coming here.
Yeah.
Right. One of the conversations that my wife and I were having, she's the one that brought it up, right? Where she was saying, like, dude, like, I think you should do an episode where you guys talk about like this whole clout thing with barbers, how barbers want to become like Instagram famous and they want to like become known in the barber industry and all this stuff. She's like, dude, like, what about becoming known to your community?
Literally.
Yeah. Like, what about becoming community famous? Like, what the fuck happened to that? Right? Like the barber industry really isn't gonna pay if you're just working as a barber, right? Like Kale was saying earlier, like if you're gonna be an educator, if you're gonna be a motivational speaker, an influencer, then yes, the industry kind of pays for all of that, right? But if you just want to be a barber that's busy behind the chair, like my wife was saying, focusing more on your community than a platform is really where it needs to be, right? And so it's like, if you want to be a busy barber, why put so much of your effort into becoming big on social media over just becoming big on your community, right? And that's what you just described right there. Like, hey, I don't have a following on social media, but dude, when I walk down the street, like everybody's telling me what's up, right? Because he built relationships in his community.
Yeah.
So that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's dope. Actually, I take that advice from Leche. You know Leche?
I've heard of Leche.
Okay, so Leche, we had him on here. And in the past, I told him, like, the best advice that he actually gave me was, like, hey, KO, like, work on getting recognized in your community and then everything else will flourish.
Wow.
And I was like, what do you mean by that,
That's
bro?
deep.
He's like, you know where you grew up at? And the places, the stores that you constantly go to spend your money and stuff like that, you want all those people to recognize you right there. Yeah, it's cool to go into a show and they recognize you because you do cool haircuts or you do cool videos, but it hits you different when you walk into somewhere that is in your community and they're like, oh, you're that one that was in that video in that podcast, huh? And I didn't know what that feeling was until I started actually doing community work, where we're doing free haircuts back to the community. We hosted, we gave out, I think, like 25 skateboards at a skate competition to the kids. So all these things that started to come my way, I started, to being able to influence the youth in doing these type of things. And now when I would step out back into the skate park or going down to the local Starbucks and they're like, oh, that's Kale. Hey, what's up? Oh, I remember you gave me that skateboard. Look, it's right here. And it was so dope. And it was different than actually going into a barber show and them knowing me because I wore that crazy yellow outfit, with the big yellow boots at CT Barber Expo or something like that. It was just the love was both the same, but the feeling was different when I received it from the community than from the people that I actually wanted to be recognized. Like I want, Rob the Original to know me. I want J Majors to know who I am. But in reality, I want my community to really know who I am. And the people that I'm gonna be connected with and giving back to is gonna be them. And they're people that are gonna stand strong behind you. And then when you get to that big stage, those people will be there along with all these social media people and everything else. And that's how you retain a bigger crowd. And it took me about 2 years. We've been doing this podcast for a whole year, right? Yeah. And going on 2 years that it took me to realize this is where I'm really making the bigger impact. So that was awesome that we're actually all talking about that and recognizing how much some of the new barbers want to get known like that big name on stage, that big sponsorship, that big ambassadorship, but in the community that they're from, they don't realize how many people you can be a role model to them.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that's gold.
I was
right
just thinking
there,
like
right?
how many people would show up at your funeral,
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Gary Vee says that a lot.
like how many people would show up
Yeah.
at your funeral, like how many people you impacted, know?
Yep.
That's when you will know the truth.
And like what
And
you
we're not
said,
gonna be
right,
there to see it,
and
but-
what you said right now, like, once you get to that next level of fame, right? It's like the people in your community will also be there to support you. And then the moment you choose to not be there anymore, right? Like the moment you choose to like get away from the spotlight, your community will still be there.
Yeah.
Right. And
yeah.
so the importance really of building that is, I mean, just in this conversation, I think we can all see how big it is.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Not just financially, guys, because again, I know we measure a lot of this shit, not just in barbering, but in business by finance.
Yeah.
Right. But it's not all about finance. Like just think about the peace of mind. Think about the life you're creating for yourself when you create those kind of relationships, right? Like you can I fucking guarantee you, KO, and tell me if I'm wrong here, that kid coming up to you at the Starbucks saying, you're the one that gave me the skateboard. Look I have it right here. Will do so much more for you than a $5,000 check.
Yeah.
Like fucking, it's incredible how much more that will do for you than a $5,000 check.
Yeah,
a $5,000 check means nothing.
Yeah.
When that kid comes up to you and says, look at fucking, I got it right here, man. That was fucking, thank you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate you. There's money can't buy that, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
again, like
that's true.
I live below my means, right? Like what did I pull up in right now? I got a 2012 Nissan Versa, bro. It's like, it's not a beater, right? But like, I don't got a BMW, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't got anything flashy, right? Like this shirt that I'm wearing, it's actually my best friend and I started this clothing brand, right? We just started it this year. And that's the only reason why I have a high quality shirt on right now because it's our own brand, you know what I mean? But I don't buy expensive clothes and nothing like that. And it's not because like I don't have like the money to buy it, but it's because I'd rather allocate that money to experiences.
Yeah.
I'd rather allocate that money to not having to work all the time to sustain my lifestyle
Correct.
And I can be with my kids, right? Like I can go on weekend getaways. We can go off-roading in Joshua Tree. Like there's just, you can get experiences.
Yeah.
Right. And so like for me, it's not just about the money, at least not right now.
No, not right now.
At least not right now.
But I wanted to say something because like every time we go somewhere with my wife, I always be like, man, my homie work here. Like, don't trip. We'll get in quick. And she always thinks I'm joking. like,
you don't fucking know.
No, yeah, like you don't know nobody.
You don't know nobody.
So we put up to your house in downtown Lane. There was no parking where we usually park. And I'm like, don't trip. My homie work right here in front of the Marriott. And she was like, you're lying. And I was like, I put down my window like, hey, Brian. And he's like, hey, what's up?
What's up, Diego?
And I'm like, hey, bro, can I leave my car right here? Yeah, park it right there, bro. I'll watch it. Go eat, come back. And she was just like, now everywhere we go out, she was like, dude, why everybody knows you every time we go out? And I was like, I don't know. It's just like, but that's where like, bro, we value that more than like $5,000 and
Absolutely.
like, having these connections, bro, for me is like so valuable, bro. Like,
Yep.
it feels good, you know? It feels really good.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, it feels better than any paycheck you can have.
Yeah.
And watch, I'm going to pull this up just to, now that we're on this conversation, right? And you'll see that it says on here today, right? So I went to, we just did a back to school community event when we're giving free haircuts for the
did see that,
Covina Valley
yeah.
Unified. Today at 7 a.m, the Rotary Club had like a breakfast / recognition for like the barbers and stuff. And one of my boys that's part of the Rotary that was on my podcast, I was sharing with him as we were in line getting breakfast, right? Saying, hey, dude, like, guess what? He's like, well, I was like, I'm going to be on my, like my first podcast as a guest today. He's like, what, really? Like, what podcast? I was like, well, the channel's called Barbertainment, so make sure you subscribe.
Yeah.
I was like, but the I think it's called DTB Podcast.
Yeah.
And the dude behind me was like, I know that guy.
No way.
Look at. And I told him too. I told him I'm gonna take a picture with you.
No way.
And I'm gonna
The
show
homie
it.
Jonathan. The homie Jonathan.
Look at why you're red.
It's just like it's just weird.
Look at
It's
that
just-
shit
crazy,
says today.
yeah.
right?
I'm red because
says
it's
today.
like what we were just
It's
talking
so
about.
unbelievable
Like,
about it, bro.
how these things just happen.
yeah, like that's like it's unbelievable. Last time too, I was at a baby shower. I was talking to some lady, and she was inviting me to church, and like I just didn't want to tell her that I already go to church, and then she goes like, my son's a barber, and then in my head I'm like, let me see, show me. He has Instagram, show me him, and when she shows me him, is my best friend, like from the old barbershop, from my old barbershop. And I'm like, Chuck's a barber. And I FaceTime right away, like, bro, look who I'm with. He's like, my mom. I'm like, your mom. Yeah, with your mom, bro. It was so, like, it was like a full circle
yeah.
moment. And I was telling my wife on the way back, like, these are the moments I live for.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
all that, because even my wife was like, Chuck's. Like, we were in shock that was her son.
Yep.
But like those moments where just like my wife realizes too, like the impact that you do in people. Oh, because she was like, oh my gosh, she's like, I'm inviting you to church, and you were the one that would invite my son to church every day. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
That's me.
She was like, dude, I always wanted to meet you, because he always be like, tengo un amigo que siempre me evita, pero nunca quiero ir. And she was like, I feel bad because I'm inviting you, and you were the one that invited my son, you know. But it was just like I never did it for that. I just did it because, hey, bro, let's go, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so it was just a full circle moment too, bro. It's like, that's crazy.
Dude, one of the things that's coming up for me, like literally right now, bro, that I'm just like, fuck, man, is in this conversation, is that, and you know, this is something new for what I'm about to say. I don't think I've ever said it, right? Like, so how it's going to come out, I fucking don't know, right? But I feel like when you're famous, right? Like in the non-community sense, more of like the past your community sense, I feel like people look up to you and know you for what you do, right?
Yeah.
But when you build your community, right? When you build relationships with your community, people don't know you or look up to you for what you do. People know you and look up to you for who you are.
Yeah.
And that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Right? Like famous people say all that the time, like Cristian Nodal in his songs where he says peor que la fama.
Uh-huh.
Right? Like, esto es peor que la fama, right?
Yeah.
And what that's telling you is like fame it's not a good thing, right? Because all these people may know who you like, may know who you are and what you do, but they don't know you.
Yeah.
They're not coming up to you because of who you are to them, right? Or who you've been to them. They're just coming up to you because they know of you.
Yeah,
They don't know you.
They don't know you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, dude, that's fucking like to be able to distinguish that, right? Like, what do you really want in your life?
Yeah.
Do you want people in your life who know you for what you do, or do you want people in your life who know you for who you are?
Yeah.
And the impact you've really, really made on them.
That's true.
Right? Because you obviously had to make an impact on that dude, Jonathan, for him to hear me say that and be like, dude, fucking Diego.
That's true.
Like,
yeah.
you know,
He actually came to the studio. I cut his kid up right here at the studio. I did a haircut with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah,
So
that's
see,
interesting.
before we wrap it up, we just want to know what are your future plans in the barber industry, in the podcast space. We didn't get to talk a little bit about your podcast, but what are your plans for your show?
I'll answer that. There's one thing that I've been wanting to say ever since we watched the Cowboy Cobos thing, right? How I was saying like about the commission shop and the booth rent shop. In that other video that he said about like if you're in a commission shop, like then you're an
employee?
your owner should be getting you clients. So 10 years ago, right? Or even 5 years ago, pre-Squire, pre-The Cut, pre-Booksy, pre all of that. Yeah, kind of the clients that came into the shop were kind of the shop's clients, right? Like if you left a commission shop, you either had to like sneakishly get every
number.
one of your clients' numbers so that you can text them. And like you had to kind of really put in work. Ooh,
I tried it.
Nah, I've never even heard of it.
So check it out. I'll grab a piece and I'll pass it on so we can all try it. We're supposed to have like this.
piece. All right, let's see.
Wait, which one is this one, KO?
Do the crunch.
Ooh.
What flavor is this one, KO?
That's blue Takis flavor, bro.
Wow, that's actually pretty good.
What'd you think about it?
And it tastes like Takis.
Yeah? This, the blue one, is more on the lemony side. The red one is more
very
on the...
citrusy. Very citrusy. I'm not a big jerky person, but this definitely adds a twist to it, bro. Like, this is definitely unique. This is
Very
definitely unique.
unique.
I've only had jerky that's just jerky, right? But like this is like the Takis hot Cheeto version of.
It gives it a umph to it.
The red one, that one's really good.
Gives you a Smurf tongue.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You fools just gave the Smurf a blowjob. No. We ate carne seca.
So back at it.
You could finish it. Conclude.
Check it out. Before we conclude this session right here with Joe, I know we talked about if there was to be any barber that you admire, that you look up to, or anything like that. And you kind of mentioned to us that you didn't have someone you actually truly admire, but you admire what they do and what they've done for the industry.
Absolutely.
And when you say those things, I can't think of no other barber right now in the game than Vic Blends. What he has done lately and uplifting the community and opening up that school in the penitentiary.
I heard of
to
that.
be able to have inmates,
Yeah,
you
that
know,
was cool.
get their license while they're doing time, I think has taken this career or this industry to the whole nother level where they're gonna start seeing our industry completely different as a true profession opposed to like a hobby or something that is only meant to be done, you know, out there that you really don't have to go to school. However, that's the person that I admire right now in the barber industry.
That's dope.
You know, not just because of that, the whole bringing, you know, the barber school to prison, but let alone from the jump since I met him. I have a few pictures with him. I've seen him a few times, you know, at different events. But since I met him, he was really humble. He's really nice. He's very knowledgeable. He says hi, he remembers you and stuff like that. But after meeting him the first time, which was at LV Barber Expo back in like 2018 or 2019, I followed his career, and he built his own community by going out in the street and giving haircuts to whether it's a homeless person, an entrepreneur, a student from college, and all just for the knowledgeable conversation that he was getting. And from then, his career just took off.
Yeah.
And I knew he was different because I felt like he was always by himself, kind of. He never wanted to be around the crowd of people of all these other barbers. Whether he was really cool with, I think at one point with Babyliss Pro, and I would see him sometimes with them and stuff like that. But overall, like I feel like he built his own community, his own fans, and now what he's doing is taking it to the top. And I've seen some of the big names in the industry like Jay Majors, and I think Bossio Cuts who also joined him when he was able to open up the school. How do you feel about that? And do you see any other barbers on the rise like that?
Oof. I mean, well, that's a different level of impact though, right? Like what you just said right now. And I had heard about Vic doing that, but it wasn't until you like put it in that perspective right now, right? That I get to have you actually create it. When you see it in an Instagram post, it's different than when someone like you just like creates it for someone like that, right?
Right.
And you get to kind of almost experience the impact through you that guy made by the actions that he took, right? So as far as like another barber coming up in the industry right now that's making like an impact like that in the community, I can't tell you that somebody really comes to my mind, right? Like there's plenty of barbers that, and again, we're playing with language here, right? The word admire maybe gives me a little bit of resistance, but there's definitely a lot of barbers that I acknowledge for the work that they are doing and the brand that they're creating for themselves and the way that they're doing it, right? The way that they're doing it. But as far as like a barber that I could say I can create for you the way that you just created Vic Blends for me, I mean, I don't think so. The one that comes up for me, if anything, but again, it's a different kind of impact, is Alexi Michael.
Oh yeah,
Alexi Michael.
I really like.
I love the simplicity of the way he educates,
how he teaches.
The way he teaches. You could tell he puts quality into his content. He's now starting. I mean, he's been for a bit now doing courses and stuff like that, but he's making it very affordable for people to take his courses. A lot of the knowledge that he gives is very simple, straightforward, and you could just tell that it works, right? And just like kind of to go down the list right now of like the people that I guess you could say I admire or look up to, or at least acknowledge the work they're doing, is like Marvy Marv, right?
Marlon, really
like,
good.
With him, what I really love about Marv is the range he has of content creation. He can create humorous content. He can create educational content. He creates content around culture, right? Yeah. He does very, very good at building brand.
And then his barbers, his gem talk, his gem talk is really, really good.
Gem talk, like I mean, he's very consistent with his content, which the three of us here know how difficult it is to be consistent with your content. And he's really created a platform for himself, one that's coming up right now, or at least in my perception, he's coming up. He might have already been coming up, but for me in the last 3 months is his name is Cody Rios. Shout out Cody Rios on Instagram. It's razor_Rios. This dude, his content is more humor. He does humorous content around the nuances of barbering. That dude, that dude. This fucking guy is hilarious.
Yeah, he makes really good content.
Really good, relevant. His acting skills are fucking.
Everybody? You having a slow day, bro?
But you got to go to his earlier shit, bro. His earlier shit was wild. Like, just if you scroll down to some of his earlier stuff, especially those ones where like the head is on there.
This one, like,
yeah, look at.
that one's cool. I saw this one. that one was funny. Yeah,
dude,
he's really dope.
There's this Dragon Ball Z, this one where he says when the clients are like trying to fight for the like their spot or something like that. I don't know what it is, but he does this whole scene, bro, where he's like the two clients are fighting with themselves to be next, like on the chair, but he's both clients, and he's like fucking the sound effects, and I mean, dude, this guy's content is hilarious. And what I love that in the last like month or two, or at least that I've seen, he's now starting to collaborate with other barbers, and I feel like that's dope. When you
open up your platform for others, to also like kind of upbring them and stuff. That's not seen that much in the barber industry. A lot of the barbers out there are kind of tough on like the upcoming barbers, and like they want them to struggle like they did, you know?
Yep.
But I mean,
and this guy is doing that, right? So I guess in making an impact, right? I love that you just said that, like almost like I believe like he's one of the ones that's in a sense, right? There's a lot of people that have already done it, but in a sense, part of the movement of pioneering collaboration, right? We're not in this for ourselves. Like we can do this together. There's enough clients, there's enough business, there's enough brand, there's enough everything to go around for everyone. You know what I mean? Everyone. He just did one with another barber that I like watching his content, Alan Jeter. Watch if you go down right there, that one. Click on that one.
This one?
Yeah, let me see.
Yo, what's going on, Alan? Hey, are you hiring?
Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, we actually are looking to bring on somebody. Do you currently have a valid barber's license?
Here's the most important thing that you need to know is that I'm never gonna give you up. I'm never gonna let you down. I'm never gonna run around and desert you.
So, do you have a barber's license?
License? We talking about a license? I am the Allen Iverson of barbering, brother. Just pass me the rock, and in this case, a haircut, and watch what I'm gonna do with it. Oh, he does fades. Oh, he does braids. Oh, he even colors hair.
Cool, that's awesome. But do you have your barber's license?
You know, it's funny how society wants to put a license on everything, but brother, you have to get past
But that guy,
all of that.
Alan Genter,
You have to understand
that guy
that
also
your value
does
doesn't come
very
by a piece of
straightforward
paper, but it comes by who
content
you are.
on nuances that have to do with barbering. He also has really, really good content. So
those are the ones you keep up with the most.
Yeah.
Okay. So JOECEE, to wrap it up, what are your future goals and for your podcast?
For the podcast, man, honestly, that's more of a passion project, right? Like I do feel like that can go somewhere for sure. Especially with consistency, right?
Yeah.
I feel like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, the superpower of the podcast will be consistency, that it'll still be around.
Yeah.
Right. I think if you have a podcast and you keep it around long enough and you actually put work into improving it and doing more things, that it will be successful.
Correct.
Right. And that you can make that some sort of side income, right? Like, or another stream of income, right? Like right now, like one thing I've said since the moment I started is the first 50 episodes are absolutely 100% completely just practice. It doesn't matter what happens in the first 50 episodes. It's all practice.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And everybody's got an opinion, especially people who don't have a podcast.
Yeah.
Why don't you invite this guest? Why don't you invite that
oh
guest?
my
Why don't you do the
God,
other?
yeah.
Why don't you do the other? And for me, it's like, why am I not doing all that stuff right now? Because I haven't hit 50 episodes yet.
I'll be like, why don't you do it?
Yeah, because I haven't hit
get
50
it.
episodes yet,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
the plan for the podcast is to eventually get more relevant guests on there, right? Guests who, one, have a platform, and guests who, two, have a very intentional and a very defined message they're trying to get out to the world.
Yeah.
And so for me, I started the podcast to practice communication.
Yeah.
The part of communication that I want to practice is curiosity. I always tell people, when people say like, oh, like, why do you do a podcast? I say, because in the next 5 to 10 years, I want to have enough practice at curiosity to where I can go into any room, anywhere around the world, with anyone that speaks the same language that I do, that I've never met before. And within 5 minutes of asking them some questions about them, be able to start seeing where I can take a conversation to where they get excited. What excites them? What can get them fired up, right? To where, one, I get value in two ways. One, or both. One, I get value in, maybe this dude says something that when I hear it, I'm like, fuck yeah, like this was gold. Or two, this guy says something where I'm like, hell yeah, I need to keep this dude in my network. Right?
Yeah.
And then three, which I believe is the best value of all, is I can create a space and an opportunity for someone to feel heard. Right? Like when somebody can share something in a way where they're so excited and they feel like that person is listening, I believe, in my opinion, that's the best gift you can give anyone.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Correct.
And so I want to be able to have practice in the ability of doing that with anyone, anywhere, at any time that speaks the same language. Obviously.
That's dope. That's dope.
And so that's really my intention for the podcast. And so with that said, if I can get more relevant guests that have more awareness around them, have a bigger platform, which can obviously help grow the podcast, where I can not only have them share the message they want to share, but through that practice, be able to extract it, like be able to really extract that message in a way that when they share it so excited and so powerfully that anybody listening actually gets value out of it.
Yeah, they could gravitate towards it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
JOECEE, just you could tell the camera where they can find you on social media, the name of your podcast, where is that?
Cool. So,
all the platforms.
My real name is actually Jose Chavez, right? But
Jose
ever since I got out of
Chavez.
high school, everybody knows me about Joe. My brand, you can say, is JOECEE, JOECEE. You can find me on Instagram at JOECEE the Barber. You can find my podcast at JOECEE Podcast. If you go on YouTube, just type in On the Mic with JOECEE. And I'm actually in the works, right? I'm just going to throw this out there because I haven't really talked about it. I'm in the works of starting a